Our next presenter is Kathy Haan, and I stalked Kathy for a while because her branding online. I know a lot of us kind of, we talk about our branding and try to determine what direction we want to go to, and then visually, what does that look like? If you're like me, I'm not a graphic designer on any level. I don't know the right words. I don't want to make them pretty. So I just admire Kathy and some people that are so visually talented. So we're going to learn a lot today about growing your list and learning. It's going to be awesome. So Kathy Haan is an international success and business mentor. She's been coaching for almost 8 years. And she has an MBA. She's a member of Forbes Council, Vogue Influencer Network, and she also blogs working with the biggest brands in the world. So let's welcome Kathy Haan. I just kind of want to get a feel for like who we've got in the room. So who here is a coach? Okay. Who owns like a brick and mortar? What? Like a brick and mortar business? Okay. What other businesses do you guys do?
Online store.
Online store. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Okay.
Done for you, marketing.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
I'm racing right now, but I want to open it for the
Wonderful. I love traveling. You guys will see some of my pictures here in a bit. So I might have to move over here for my slide. Yeah. You can go ahead and advance. Okay. So that last word up there says you. It's a little light on here. So who here has ever been stuck in like a 9 to 5? Okay, so I hope I'm not alone in this, but when I was in my 9 to 5, it was soul crushing, like having to be fit into this tiny little box because I had these big, wild dreams of getting to go travel half the year. What do you mean PTO? I don't have enough PTO. Like, what's that? Like, no, I want to do it this way. No, I don't want to do it that way. So, as entrepreneurs, you're probably all multi-talented and passionate about a lot of things. And you're like, okay, what am I going to do to like really stand out from the crowd? Because I'm good at a lot of things. And something that I like to say is your aim shouldn't be to be everybody's cup of tea. You should be somebody's shot of whiskey. Because I would much rather you have like 1,000 people on your list who will buy every single thing you put out versus 200,000 on your list who don't even open your emails. That's me. So, I'm not photoshopped in real life, but okay. So something that I learned very quickly as an entrepreneur is that you can make bank doing something that you love. And so some of you may be like, well, I want to be a life coach, but so does everybody else and their mom. What's going to like stand me apart from everybody else? And that's branding. So I'm going to touch on that today. I'm also going to touch on list building. So you can go ahead and move to the next one. So I'm a mom of 3, a wife, a world traveler, Vogue Influencer Network, Forbes Coaches Council. I've been coaching actually almost 8 years now. And I help women start and scale their online coaching businesses. And I'm from Denver, Iowa, where the mile wide, not the mile high. It's literally on our sign, like 1,400 people. Okay. Okay, so this is my husband, my little guy, my oldest, and my middle child. My husband's a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he brings me my lunch and my dinner and massages my feet, and it's wonderful. You guys can do that. I recommend it. And he's easy on that. So, okay. Okay, so social proof. Just so that way you guys know like what I'm talking about and not just somebody who's pretending to be an expert in this. On Facebook, I have over 34,000 likes. Pinterest, I get 1.5 million monthly views. About 10,000 on Instagram. I also have a blog working with some of the biggest brands in the world. Okay, so some more bragging rights. I took second place in the pitch. Anybody ever hear of Blog Her?
Yeah.
Okay, so I took second place. Blog Her, it's like an online thing, and then they have like a network that gets together like once or twice a year. Anyways, like Chelsea Clinton has spoken there, Kim Kardashian, kind of big names. This summer alone, I went to 12 different countries. Okay, big fan of social media, have an MBA. I was also a seminary student. I dropped out with half of the paper left. So I was like, don't feel like doing this anymore. I started a ministry for Congolese refugees, and I work with some of the biggest brands in the world, which you should see. Okay, so the secret to telling a great story is living one. So you're probably thinking, wow, this is kind of cool, but like, what were you like before you discovered all of these cool online things? So you can advance. These are just some of the travels. Advance. That's in Dubai last week. The snow one was in London. Here are some of the brands. So like you can see here, like Forbes, Huffington Post, Best Buy. These are just some of the brands I work with. So really blue chip household names. Okay, so I don't say this to impress you. I say this to impress upon you. That doesn't matter like where you are at in your life. Like you have a choice. You can make a choice to change wherever you're at. And it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be next week. It can literally be today, because that's where I was at. So 8 years ago, thank you, I was in a totally different place than I am today. And I always get emotional when I tell this. So I'm a crier, like Elisa over here. So I was sexually abused as a kid, kicked out of the house at 14, drug addict, found myself a victim of human trafficking. And then I was in an abusive marriage. And the day that I decided to leave my husband, he had me convinced that because of my depression, I would never see our kids again. He gaslighted me. I got it in my head that, okay, you're right, I'm a burden. And so that night, I overdosed on 32 prescription sleeping pills in an attempt to take my life. The last thing that I remember is my 2-year-old screaming and sobbing as she's running up the stairs saying, "Mommy died, Mommy died." And the last thing that I remember was praying to God, "Dear God, I made the biggest mistake of my life. Please do not take me, because I'm going to be here for my girls. I'm going to stop taking over 20 pills a day and just sleeping all day and crying." That's all I did. I was missing 6 months of work at a time because I was so depressed and anxious. So I spent 9 days in the hospital. And then when I got out, I left him. And so, oh yeah, I was also close to 300 pounds once and then lost 123. I found a lot of it again, but that's all right. I'll leave it here. And I'm what they consider a medical zero. Does anybody know what that term means? Anyone? Do you want to?
How I know of it is like where it's indescribable. They can't figure out things that are wrong. It's weird to have multiple things like multiple things, conditions not adding up.
Yeah, exactly.
Mystery.
So for me, I've had like all these like weird symptoms pretty much my entire life that they were just dismissed away by parents and by others in my life, like, oh, it's all in your head. Well, after 15 appointments at Mayo, I was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. Your body's like 80% connective tissue. I don't know, some health, you could probably tell me whether or not that's true. Some health person could. So basically it affects literally like every aspect of my life. So standing up here, with Ehlers-Danlos, it caused postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So my autonomic nervous system does not work appropriately. So me standing up here, all of the blood is pulling to my legs, and my brain's saying, you better sit the fuck down because like this isn't normal, and it makes me feel miserable. But I'm gonna stand just for effect. So if you see me like my body just doesn't know when to breathe appropriately. So if I'm short of breath, that's why. So in addition to postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, I also have inappropriate sinus tachycardia. Narcolepsy. Anybody ever met a narcoleptic? Okay. Well, you have now, if you haven't. And then Raynaud's phenomenon. So like even like if I have chicken that I take out of the fridge and like try and cut it, like my hands would be like excruciating because of the cold, all of like the nerve endings and stuff. And my body does not sweat appropriately either. So basically, I have a lot going on, and I basically had literally everything stacked against me. So if I can stand here today, somebody who just traveled to 12 different countries, I was in Dubai and London last week, can remarry, inspire women all over the world. There is no reason that you, any of you sitting here today, cannot do what I've done. So I'm going to show you a little bit more about like how you can incorporate like who you are as a person at your core in a way that feels authentic. So that way you're not pretending to be somebody that you're not, something that will come easy for you. So if you want to go ahead and advance, I know that feels so heavy. I want it out of the way now. Okay, so I love photo shoots too.
That's my favorite photo of you.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, moral of the story is you have a choice, no matter your situation, your circumstances or background, you and you alone can dig yourself out of this pit. Decide today that you're going to be the victor rather than the victim.
You're so beautiful.
Thank you. I received that. That's another thing too. You want to get really good at receiving and kind of money. And the gift of receipt also includes you investing in yourself, investing in a coach, going to the spa, traveling, all these fun things. Okay, so also I forgot to mention in there that like I was really, really fucking broke. Like having to pawn things just to make rent. When I was kicked out of the house living in Portland, I was living in a mansion. And I had 2 Mercedes in the driveway, a Carmen Ghia, a sailboat down at the yacht club. There's another car, a fancy one, but I can't remember. But anyways, what's that?
I had a 1971 Carmen Ghia.
Oh, okay. So I went from living like this glorious existence to finding myself moving in with my dad in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. The town even smaller than the one I live in now, in a trailer court, surrounded by corn. And like I'd hear my dad up at night crying over his checkbook, trying to figure out, is he going to put food on the table or pay for the pills that he literally could not live without? So I used to be really, really broke. And that story continued with me into adulthood. But now, like, I'm working with clients all over the world, and I'm fully booked. So,
Woo!
yeah,
Yeah, girl.
Okay.
Oh, give it
Okay, so I touched a little bit on like how you can really like feel who you are at the core and then speak to that person through brand. So there's 3 different types of coaches, and you can also consider this like entrepreneurs and anybody who's kind of like in a service basis. So the first one is a guru. So you are likely a guiding light for others. You tend to be very skilled at their craft and also love to help others achieve. These people make great teachers and mentors. The next one is an alchemist. Oh, okay. So while you're on a mission to make a difference, protecting your energy is also important to you. You strive for balance and make efforts to achieve it in business and in life. And then the last one is a queen. That's me. Okay, there we go. So as a queen, you have the potential to be a top player in your industry. They tend to have a raw talent and drive, which is a powerful combination. And chances are you have a strong personal brand and may even be a micro celebrity in your industry. So we'll touch a little bit more on what a guru is. So if you are the guru type, your brand words are wisdom, shift, courage, authenticity, mentor, empathy, and altruistic. And your superpower is you help transform others. And some examples are Amy Porterfield. Anybody ever take any of her courses? Yeah, she's amazing, isn't she? Yeah. She's a really, really good teacher. Yeah. And then Chris Carr, do you know who Chris Carr is? Okay. I saw her speak at Oprah Super Soul Sessions. Amazing. Okay, next. Hi. Okay, so alchemist. So an alchemist, you are spiritual, intuitive, there's health, healing, pioneer, and purity. Your superpowers are love, purity, balance, taking and seeing the higher ground. So that's like Danielle Laporte, Gabby Bernstein, Catherine Zenkina. Anybody know who Catherine is? Manifestation babe, I love her. Okay, next. And then the queen. Okay, so vision, diamond, rainmaker, abundance, mastery, and impact. I always knew, ever since I was little, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew that I was going to change the world. And I didn't just want to change like one person's life. I wanted to change lives of masses. So influence and the ability to inspire others. So you've got Allie Brown, Marie Forleo, Gina DeVee, my mentor, Oprah, and Beyonce. I dance, but I'm not that great of a dancer. Okay, next. Okay, so why does this matter? Because when you are speaking through your coach type, whether it's the guru, alchemist, or the queen, you're going to be able to attract those that are like you. You will be good at it because it'll be almost like effortless. Like this is something I can do in my sleep. And then profitability, make more money. Next. So you're probably wondering, what type of coach am I? So I'm cool if you guys want to like get your phones out now and take it. It's like 5 questions. And usually, like if I talk to somebody for a couple of minutes, I could have them pegged pretty quickly who they are. And then that helps me speak to them because I know their language. What inspires them, what motivates them.
What if you're looking at that and you're like, I feel like I'm all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Great question. So the question was, what if you feel like you're all 3? Which is a great question. Depending on like what our upbringing is, what our education is, our home environment, all these different things, like you can have pieces from everyone. So just because I'm a queen who likes to like be in the spotlight and inspire others and stuff, doesn't mean that I'm not a great teacher. I mean, I'm teaching you guys right now, I think. You guys are learning, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm eager to hear what y'all come up with. I pegged Lisa last night, like, this is you, and she took it, sure enough.
It is case sensitive?
Yes.
Oh,
is it?
Yeah, good things are always good. Yeah.
I did not know that. Thank you for teaching me. I should have just made it all lowercase then, huh? I want you guys to work for it. So when you get yours, go ahead and call it out. Queen? Who got a queen? Hey, I see you over there. Queen. Awesome. funny. I had all of my clients take this.
Okay.
A lot of them were alchemists.
Yeah, that's what I got.
You got alchemist?
No, it wasn't working before, but I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time too.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know they were all case sensitive for different things, which is weird to me.
So it is all exactly as is?
Yeah. So bit.ly. Are you a guru? Awesome. Alchemist. I knew that. I watch your lives. You got a lot of community. I see you. Who's still having trouble with the website?
I'm trying to put my info in. It's like,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I still can't.
Alchemist.
do you want to do it online?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Who hasn't got theirs yet? Okay.
I know.
So are you starting to see how powerful this could be? Like once you know what you're meant to be, like you can still be a coach of like, let's say you want to be like a consultant. You can still be a queen and consultant. I'm a coach and a consultant. Does everybody know the difference between a coach and consultant? No? Okay. So a coach is somebody who like helps others figure out the answers that they already know, kind of, and it's less like, let me do the work for you. Whereas a consultant can often like do a lot of like the done for you stuff. And I do a little bit of both. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Well, I was gonna say, for a lot of speakers associations, like I'm in the NSA, you cannot call yourself a coach unless you've truly done a program and you are a certified coach.
I'm a certified coach.
Yeah, so a lot of people call themselves a coach and they're not actually, and some organizations get really snippy snotty about that.
Yeah, and for me, I don't necessarily feel you have to go through a certification program. I mean, there's lots out there. I have, just because I wanted a particular Tiffany crystal that came at the end of that certification. But it's not necessary. So we can go ahead and advance. Oh, okay. So coaches, like, for example, like if you were to ask me, like, I really don't know what I want to do in life. And I could be like, well, let's talk about that. Like, what do you like to do? You know, like I'm drawing the answers out of you versus me giving you the answer. Consultant. Yeah, essentially. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say I just tell people what to do.
Which is why as a queen, I really like that part of it.
Yeah. It's like the clients have the answers.
Yeah, that's a very great way of looking at that. Okay. Oh, okay. So now we're going to touch a little bit on list building. So for me, I don't know how many, but I add like hundreds of people to my list every day through a variety of methods. And I'm going to show you some of these methods. You guys already saw one of them. You guys take a quiz, right? That was fun. It was fun for me. It was fun for you. And you learned something.
Oh, and then you got our email.
Yeah, and it was like in a really like not slimy way. Okay.
And we all got
Yeah, and it was fun. Like, I don't know, like I'll be scrolling late at night on Facebook and I see this quiz and like, what type of fruit was I last night? I know. Yep, BuzzFeed. They do that really, really well. I will get lost on there forever. So my favorite types of list builders, quizzes. Another one is content upgrades or freebies. Now, as a blogger, I do a lot of content upgrades. So I'll like teach something in the blog post and at the end I'm like, here's where you can get XYZ that'll teach you more. It's free to them and I get their email address. And it's just like, it's like your blog post is like beginner and then the upgrade is like moderate. And then after the upgrade, they could like work with me, that'd be advanced. Texts. has anybody ever texted a keyword to a certain number and then like got signed up for their list or anything like that? You have?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's great for collecting emails very quickly, and it's very personal because people pretty much have their phones in their hands like all day long until like they're literally sleeping. Sometimes even longer than that.
How does that actually work when you're texting a number to somebody? How do you end up with their email? Yeah,
I'll show you in a little bit. I will let you try it out. Yeah, no, I don't think there's any. I mean, I'm sure there's programs that hunt for that stuff, but no, mine's a much less slimy way. Okay, so I don't remember what that said. Oh, process. So my process is number one strategy. You want to make sure that your freebie or your opt-in or whatever it is you're exchanging for their email address is directly tied back to your signature offer. So for example, as somebody who helps launch and scale online coaching businesses, it would not make sense for me to put out like 10 recipes for better looking skin. Like it doesn't translate well. Number two, design. You want to make sure that whatever your list builder item is, that it's on brand. For me, like as you can tell, like the grays and the silvers and the pinks, although I'm having like this existential crisis now when I discovered that, oh damn, red. Okay. Next thing is development. So if you have the technical skills and you actually enjoy creating all these things, you can do it yourself or you can hire somebody to do it for you. Like I did all these slides just because this is like my passion. I love creating and it looks good. Okay. And another thing on business cards, I'm really not a fan of them because you know what happens? Like, yeah, I'll take a card and then they go right into my purse where they just sit with it off forever, literally forever. So, what can you use instead? I just started this really, really cool trick at the Travel and Adventure Show in Chicago, where I asked for a business card, and this is because I genuinely like wanted their email address, so that way I could like reach out to them about a sponsored trip. And I said, "We don't do business cards." I'm like, "Oh, well, you did that. Like, I want your information. Like, give it to me. Thank you." And so the girl whips out a camera, and she's like, "Okay, smile." And takes a selfie with me and then prints it out immediately and writes her information on the bottom. Brilliant, right? Like I will always remember this gal because I have her picture. Unfortunately, it's not photoshopped for me, but I still remember her. So that's just a little trick that I thought I'd throw in here.
How are you gonna print it out?
Yeah. Oh, so they have cameras that have like the actual like print function like right in them. Kind of.
Useful.
Yeah. It's really cool.
I just typed it up.
You could do
They
that.
have their notes.
They actually have sticker printers that hook right up to your phone.
Yeah. So the one that he had was, I looked it up afterwards. It was like $60 at Walmart. And then I know that they do make those little tiny printers as well. Those were like 130. Oh, here we are. Okay, so have you ever been on Instagram? You're like, damn, that is a good feed. Like, I really, really like this Instagram. You can, you could use Color Cooler. So it's Color Cooler, I think that's how it's pronounced, .com. You could type in their username and it will tell you what their brand colors are. Yeah. So if you click, again, you'll see some of the other speakers as well. Okay, so Ashley, these are her colors. Those are mine. Lisa. Yeah.
All right, I'm very on the wall Instagram thing. I'm totally, you're speaking another language. These colors, is it like what you put in, like you get to choose your font, or is it like they choose by your personality what your color palette is like?
Great question. So when you use Color Cooler, what it is it's literally like telling you what that person's Instagram feed colors are. Like, I upload a ton of pictures and stuff to mine. Mine's very like coordinated, like, and a very beautiful feed. But like somebody could look at it and be like, oh, I want to know like how I can replicate that in the rest of my branding. Like I want these exact colors. So then you could give that color palette to a graphic designer or a VA, and they can incorporate those colors into your branding.
So like if I'm uploading a bunch of pictures of the ocean on a surf trip on Instagram, so then my colors will come up all the time.
Probably, yeah.
It's not so much about the content, but actually what the colors in the pictures are.
Yep, exactly.
So this is my thing, I guess. Because of the pictures you've uploaded, those are more colors that come up in them. I mean, you can be
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when I look at mine, obviously mine is very cohesive. What is that little square?
Yeah.
Oh, that I think I just forgot to take out. I don't. Okay, that was a minute. No, that I was going to put pictures of everybody's face, so that way we could like type in what the speaker was, but then I forgot to delete that one. Just if you saw me during yoga, I was working on these slides. The thing about branding is it looks good, but it takes time.
How did you take the part where it says your silver or your page?
See, mine didn't come up with that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It spits it out for some people, but not others. So, yeah. Okay, so if you've gathered a little bit from me, like I'm into like doing, seeing, and being like all of the things. So I want you to start living a life by design rather than a life by default. Thanks. That's why I travel a lot. Okay, so one of my signature programs is called Weekend to Launch. And so people come in, they do hair and makeup, they get a brand photo shoot, and then they get their funnel done by the time they leave. And I'm turning that into a retreat program. So if you advance, here's another example of list building. This is the text that I was telling you about. So if you text the word castle to 444-999, that's going to add you to my wait list that says, hey, you'll be the first notified when I launch the retreat.
How do you create that?
Textful, so text, IFUL. It's super, super, super easy.
And do you put that information on your blog or your Instagram post? Or
Yeah, so it works great like when you're on stage. So I could have been like, all right, so I'm about to show you a keyword on the next slide. And the first person to text this keyword and like input their email address and stuff will get my course for free or something. That works wonderfully because then you have everybody like frantically like trying to type it in. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I put it at the end of my posts. That type of thing. Okay.
End of your Instagram post?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest.
So anytime you're marketing.
Yeah, I always have some type of call to action.
Is it all still being happened?
I don't think that matters.
Do you know how many people, like you have a list of how many people you have on this list?
Yeah, in Textable, it shows me everybody. And I also get an email.
Textable or textable?
Text, IFUL. Okay. So 444-999. All right, next. Okay, so I only have 1 minute left. And so what I will do for you is I will send you the PDF that breaks down even further how to build your list. I also have ways to incorporate that into your social media. So that way it's like easy and organic and not like big. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, questions? We got like a minute.
I have one.
Yes.
You have such a powerful story also where you've overcome a lot to get to where you are now. After you kind of went through that process, how did you get your first client? Because I know once you get the first one, then it was,
Okay, so I was broke for a really long time, even after I started coaching. I didn't get my first client until I got vulnerable. I didn't share what I shared with you guys. nobody knew I was in the hospital. Nobody knew the struggle I had gone through. They just thought I was this privileged gal traveling, doing all the different things. But as soon as I got vulnerable, people saw me at their same level. It's like, wow, that's really powerful. I didn't know you could do that. Like, I would love to. So, being authentic, vulnerable, and not afraid to use the stories that you have to empower others.
When you say you work with big brands, is that as a blogger or as an influencer just doing Instagram stuff or
Both. Great question. So I've got a bunch of toys sitting at home, and my 4-year-old's probably going to kill me by the time I get back because he can't open any of the toys. So I'm like, I got to do a video on these. Sorry, babe. But yeah, I get like anywhere from like 500 to like 2,000 per like blog post or campaign. I do a lot of like sponsored travel where they'll send my entire family somewhere, and then we'll have like all these excursions and fun things planned. Like we went to Kansas City, Missouri for a blog trip with my family. This is better than Disney. Because they got to do all these really cool things that we normally wouldn't do otherwise.
If you had to pick just one thing, best place to start for this, what would you pick?
Well, for you in particular, you do jewelry, right? So I would have to say it would probably be the textile. Just because like you have like actual physical product, and you be like, hey, you know, you get so much off or whatever.
Oh, I actually utilize something like that for my products. Shopify offers different apps that you can apply to the front page of your website. So the second someone gets on, and everybody does it. You know, you offer like 10% off or whatever, and all you have to do is put in your email. And my email list grows so fast from it. And they always use it. Like they always use the 10% off. So you secure a sale and you get an email.
Yeah.
Like all in one fair swoop.
Yeah, that's a great point. So making sure that your site is optimized in a way that like you got a front page that has like links to everything, so you also have a funnel, which Elise is going to talk about here in a bit. Making sure that you are like literally ushering them through the sale, so that way it's really natural for them to be like, yeah, I'll add 5 more necklaces to get free shipping or whatever.
It's kind of like a chicken and egg thing. Do you think a website, since I'm starting out, do you think a website's more important? Do you think Instagram, social media?
Great question. So you're right, it is the chicken and the egg thing. However, in my personal opinion, I would love for you to have a site so that way when you do start creating content, you have somewhere to like usher them to. So
Have a website.
yeah, and there's probably different opinions. I mean, there's pros and cons to both, but I would actually rather see you both. Like create content. I had a client ask me the other day, like, you know, did I put the cart before the horse? Like, should I be focusing more on content instead of like getting money? And I'm like, well, think about it this way. If you focus just on the content, imagine how much money you're losing out on of all these people who've been following you for years before you started offering a product. Same with if you have just a website. How are you going to get people to it without content value? So they're both really important. Did y'all learn something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we have time for one question?
So I have a challenge that I work with kids, but you can't really market kids to buy a product. So it's like I have 2 target audiences I have to work with.
Yeah. So what do you do with the kids?
I run outdoor adventure and environmental education.
Okay, so who pays for them?
Parents.
Okay,
Right,
so
I have to market to the parents.
yep. But also, like my little guy, he'll be 4 next week, loves monster trucks. So he always like wrangles me into bed, like on my laptop watching YouTube videos, monster trucks. All of a sudden an ad comes on for Billie Jean marketing and he sucked me in. I spent 3 hours on his Facebook Live watching this shit. Like, so just because you're not necessarily speaking to that person. Like, let's say you just run ads on YouTube, like you can still hit your people. But yeah, market to the adult. Anybody else? Okay, cool.
Thanks, Kathy.
You guys, we're gonna take, I'm gonna get set up here for about 2 minutes. If anyone needs to use the restroom,